platforms. I miss them so much. I miss being able to take a trade, and I see how differently I was trading then. Sorry for this long-winded login session. It's still working on it. But just being able to take platforms. I miss them platforms. I miss them so much. Come on, there we go. Got it. Well, we're in. We're not on the right playlist and all that other good jazz, but that's okay. We are recording. We're good to go. Good morning, everyone. You guys already know the drill. Don't risk what you can't afford to lose, and that includes you're buying at prop firms. Remember, you're spending $100 an account. You're doing 3-4 accounts. That's a $300 account that you can start to play with. If you have your own, I don't care if it's TradeStation, Trade-of-8, Ninja Trader, even Coinbase has one technically. Webull, I think, has one. Actually, don't quote me if Webull or Moomoo has one. But you can have your own account, like just to practice. Prop firms are a great place to go get a couple of payouts or to practice the skill set and then trade your own money. Why would you give them 10%, right? And because at first it's awesome. Or like in my case, I'm striving for this 7-figure payout from Apex, for example. And I like the consistent payouts from Take Profit Trader. It's just really keeping all my expenses afloat, at least for all that we're spending on the future stuff. But either way, Take Profit Trader is 40% off. Definitely check them out. Use code 6FTC. Apex Take Profit Trader funding ticks does not still have Take 6FTC for some ungodly reason. Won't take it. But everything that I'm doing is in here. Definitely check them out. Brokers, I'm mostly Plexi and TradeSpark, CoinX for the most part, Ox if you really want another one that withdraws really quickly. A lot of feedback on N1C, but in all fairness, N1C is regulated. They follow rules. If you don't know how to follow rules or read, you're going to have a hard time. The people who I know who have struggled a lot, one of them is trying to withdraw like to their bank account, different accounts, no KYCs. So just trying to get to the bottom of what their issue is. Yes, it's a lengthy process in comparison to the instant world, but otherwise it's regulated. It's just a different channel. So that's all I've got there. Dun dun dun. I'm gonna close that. 5 minutes until New York Open. We're looking at NQ. We've got a nice inbound to the upside. I went ahead and drew it and marked it up a little bit. We've got our data candle to the downside. I was scalping a little bit of this move up, and now this is where we're sitting. So that white line, if you guys remember, is where we were looking at the highs on Tuesday. We took out those highs on Tuesday, later in the afternoon, but we did take them out. So now this is where we're sitting. If you notice, we've just come right back above Monday's high, right? Monday noon, Monday high. And that's kind of where we're sitting. Whether or not this is to go down, so can we, just tank down, come clear these levels? There's liquidity down here, sure. But that's going to be a big ask. So for us, look how much price was agreed upon here. We had news candle retested, came back and beat above it. So this area, between the 660s all the way up into the 700s, 780s, 770s, was a very agreed upon price for quite a while, for more than one day. It's where we stopped way back here in July. Okay. It's been a very agreed upon price. So is it going to be a magnetic price? Absolutely. But since we're only scalping, if you're taking this as a breakout, make sure you're just trailing manually or automatically along the way, because we don't need to give any of that back. If we're going to fill the imbalance and actually continue to the downside, I don't want to see us close above kind of the 960s. If we close above the 960s, I'm no longer looking for this to sell down. And then the same to the downside. If we're closing below the 600s, I'm looking for the sells. So smaller picture, really. And that is actually kind of a smaller picture. What I don't want to see happen, and I think it's going to be very difficult to manually trade or automatically trade, is going to be we pop down, because by how much, right? If we pop down before filling the imbalance, we can't trust that trade to kind of play out as much. We've got a lot of agreed upon price between those 7 and 600s, right? We've already got a lot already all the way back quite a while. So are we going to wick into it really fast, especially with this already taking up so much volume? Or how is that going to play out exactly? So by how much? If we are to wick the pre-market low, that's going to be harder to manage. What I'd love to see happen is us to kind of spring up, get proof of rejection, get a smaller time frame kind of retest on the JGS, Ricky's method, which just involves using a higher time frame of the JGS, but just either way, a retest, right? So a spring up, as long as we're not closing above there, and then continuation to the downside. I think that's going to be easy to trade on the 1 minute. but we'll see. So 2 minutes for opening bell. ES looks more of the same. Not exact. We're not exactly touching that trend line the same way we are on NQ. NQ, we've already kind of broken below that 1 hour trend line. So we'll see. But ES, I again would love to see us come trade into this area, stay below yesterday's close, and then come on down. Because that's going to be a much smoother price action. If you notice, we're kind of sitting literally at the previous all-time highs and still sitting above the trend line. So still everything is saying this is a bullish market. Gold, I tried to come up to the bigger time frames to kind of clean up some of these trend lines. Please forgive me if they're a little off, because on the bigger time frame, obviously it looks a little different than on the smaller time frame. This is where we're sitting right now. We're still sitting bullish. I would like to see us break down. So if we're going to spring down again, trying to look for that smaller time frame play, we talked about this on Tuesday night, us coming up into here, and we got it. I think we pulled down one more level. And then we were targeting up into here, and we got this area on Wednesday. So that was the target, the big picture target that I was looking for on Tuesday. But now we're going to see. So easy to trade. What I'd like to see happen is us to come down into this kind of 560s, 57, 357-ish area, 355, all the way into here. Okay, that's what really I'm looking for, but we're going to see. We're going to see if we can get that. If we're buying, we're going to run into a lot more congestion. If you notice, the drops have been hard and the buys have been weaker. So there's our opening bell. Let's turn this back on. Market is open, 2-minute time frame. I've got my Apex kind of mirroring to umpteen accounts. Don't quote me. I've gotten much better. I've got it a lot more controlled. I'm really only mirroring ES and NQ for the most part. I'm not mirroring everything under the sun. And for the most part, I'm really only doing NQ. It's like that's actually taking the, hey, we're taking all accounts. Just because if something ever happens, a contract switch, all the stuff, I can control that better. I don't have to go look and navigate 87 different instruments, wondering how it switched contracts and do all the things. So that's kind of the story there. Gold forming bearish, now bullish. 1 more minute left on this 2-minute candle. NQ wicked up pretty hard, still respecting that higher time frame trend line. Pushed bullish. I really wanted to see some more following through, and we're closing this candle bearish, it looks like. Minute left on the 2-minute candle. We're 850s. Got another doji. We just filled a very small time frame. Let's go. Okay. If we're buying, we're going to make sure we're going to be protecting very quickly. We've got 20 seconds left on this candle. So let's see what we can get. Looks like we're trying to break. I'm going to check gold. We got 4 seconds left. Gold is also bullish. And here's our NQ. So NQ was strong. ES, not as strong, not at all. And there's our break. Okay, I'm going to move my chat out the way. Not quite. I'm just trying to make sure I'm completely ready. We're also still below the VWAP. I really wanted to see a lot more volume than that for this opening candle. We are bullish, so we're not trying to take this all the way, but even all the way up, this is yesterday's closing price. In a perfect world, this would be smooth and clean for us, and we can just buy up into that. That's going to be a great trade. Let me just measure it for conversation purposes. We don't have it yet, though. We've got our break, JGS. We're sitting below VWAP if we're treating that like dynamic support. It's barely a 1-to-1 just to trade into that level, but that's what I'm looking for if price agrees. But ES is not. ES is bearish. Nice little retest, JGS down. Nice flag off of that moving average. NQ still trying. Going nowhere. We got a little tap, but no follow through. 20 seconds left on the next 2-minute candle and just no direction. Yes, no direction. How much you want to bet gold is the one who's moving right now and I'm not trading it? Gold broke out but didn't follow through. Maybe we don't. 5-minute candle's looking to close bullish. So that's something. But it is a bullish doji. It's not like a momentum candle. ES is coming down. And gold. Okay, we're trying. I don't need to give it much room because we've already filled that imbalance. I would definitely, that whole wick on that next candle, pretty big. We need some momentum. There's none. All right, that's the break above. ES is trying too. Yes, I would consider taking on the, that is a late entry. I'm buying. I am going to choke this trade a little bit just because I'm not giving any of it back. Again, it's mirroring between a lot of accounts, not taking a bunch of chances, not losing on my drawdown. Oh, that was stupid. Could have given it a little bit more room. Not even 10 points there. Another entry. That's our one, man. Okay, I can live with that. I'm going to go take a look at ES because I can't get back in that. We haven't broke out. We just broke that flag. Again, I'm not looking for a lot just to come up into here. So if I'm going to take another trade that's kind of mirrored and is a little bit slower, it's going to be ES. So ES is here. I should have been in that NQ trade better. I wasn't going to let it stupidly wick me. Looking to trade this into this kind of point of control area. 484s. Point of control and also the yesterday's close is going to be sitting right there. So I can kind of live with that. This is not going to move as smooth, obviously. I'm in the green, not a lot of points or pips or ticks. Not even barely one. Lagging. NQ is still going. Did not get very much of that. If I would have let my management just manage, it would have been better than me trying to manually do it. And gold is sitting still. We just broke above kind of that VWAP. I could have had a slightly better entry, maybe by about a 1.5 or so on ES. But the purpose of me trading this is just because the direction is very unclear. We don't know if we're going to come break these highs, and this is more easily managed. So I'm okay coming up into kind of that 484 number. I would give it even as much as this larger candle and just let this play out. You don't have to worry or stress or play too much. I'm not going anywhere though. I'd like to see us just not close below that 20 moving average. I'm trying to work on that. Like I'll post a screenshot from what I did on my one pre-market trade this morning. Actually, I took 2 entries on it. Is just allowing to get the biggest move I can from it. And then I still want to NQ. I'm about to go down to a smaller time frame. So here's our kind of our break on NQ. I bought up once, just kind of targeting this next level. And as it retested, I took another entry. And like JGS style, that's exactly what we want to see. We are above the VWAP, we're above every single thing. We've got at least some room into our next target level. And that's really all I wanted to see. So baby stepped my way kind of into that. But instead of letting it come all the way back, I don't know if it was, that's too early. So it's got to be here. 740. Oh, this is the 2 minute. But same concept. So this is targeting the next high, cool. And as we got a retest and confirmation, took another entry. So got in, took off some here and some as we pulled back and kind of started breaking structure, got in, took off some at the high, and then as we pulled back below previous candle, kind of using trailing candles or like the 8 moving average, and then you're just done. But one trade, gotta be the set. Back to ES, just floating around, not floating in profit, sitting about 2 points in drawdown.
Yeah, it was a great retest of where it broke out from the news. And then that's a bounce off of a 1 hour trend line. So now we'll see if it'll hold and continue up higher, or if it's just a retest and then a breakdown to go back further again.
On NQ.
Yes, sorry.
Well, I like NQ's filling this balance fast, and whereas like ES is just doing literally nothing. I really wanted, we broke down past that trend line really, really aggressively. And granted, that's news. I really, in a perfect world, I'd like to stay below yesterday's close. And if definitely not, then the pre-market high. But if we're talking imbalances and all those concepts, there's more imbalances all the way up here.
So that 4 hour, we did form a doji from the last 4 hour that closed, and then this 4 hour went down, and now we're what about 20 minutes from that actual candle closing. So that may give us a bit of idea of where we're what we're looking at.
This is our 4 hour. Nice. Look at that on the 4 hour. That filled that imbalance beautifully. We're sitting in profit, but not by a lot. We're just not really going anywhere. ES came in perfectly into that area too. We have 17 minutes left on this 4 hour candle. This is going to have to push up a lot more. This is ES. So NQ's got a stronger wick on that 4 hour candle by far. But we're going to see. I haven't traded ES very much. For the most part, I've been focusing on NQ and a very occasional gold trade. That's it. And I like it. I like looking at one thing. When there's an issue, you only have to check one thing. It's a lot easier to diagnose and to solve problems. But this is where we're sitting. We barely popped up into profit a little bit, not enough points. I am currently sitting down 1.5 points, give or take. We've been negative about maybe 2 or 3 points. Just want to see this kind of get this extension. We've retested above the 20. Don't like how that wicked form. And the 15-minute opening range is about ready to close. Man, NQ was perfect though. This is like watching paint dry, you guys. I am not in love. Not in love. But I have no regrets. I'm very green on the week. I want peaceful, kind of simple trades and to be done. So I like this. Oh, and it's fall now. So in Florida you can't tell because fall comes around and the humidity is just so thick that you can eat it with a spoon. You go outside to take your hike or you're walking, you're like, oh, never mind. I changed my mind. But it's also pumpkin spice time. So I'm not like one of those super diehard pumpkin people. It is so sweet. I haven't been going to a lot of coffee shops like to get a flavored coffee. But this morning I went and got everyone just pumpkin spice coffees and all the things. So it is officially fall, just not in Florida, not yet.
Over here, we got a lot of Asian and inspired coffee shops. So you get a lot of like those Asian flavors into it, like rose lattes, pandan, all that.
Oh, Jonathan, you're gonna have to go to one of those and take a picture of the menu, and I'll send it to Rosie because you guys know she's a barista. But rose inspired coffee, I would totally try that. Because I'm sure it's more subtle than like the super sweet, coffee syrups. Like, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask for this half sweet. It's from Eliano's. It's an Italian coffee shop. I like Eliano's a lot, but I think the Oriental coffee shops would be a lot less sweet and just heavily sugared.
Absolutely, unless you get Vietnamese coffee, which uses condensed milk, and that's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, Vietnamese coffee is not too bad. Or like what is it called? It's not Tres Leche. What's the one? The Cuban coffee? Cuban coffee is just sugar and espresso.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm losing track of it. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the little one. It's almost like a shot, but it's like super sweet.
Yep, yep. That's the one. We're trying now. And this would be up a lot if we were in NQ, guys, but we're not in NQ, so we are not in NQ at all. It's wild to watch this. Okay, yeah. If you ever go to Iliano's and you're not too into the sweet, just ask for it half sweet because I'm gonna have to split this into two, and I still think it's gonna be overly sweet because I never really drink a lot of sweet coffees. But the pumpkin spice was a huge welcome flavor. Very welcome. And that's that. Grr.
Hey Jenny, how are you?
Good morning, Miss Barika. How are you?
I'm good. In the meantime, there's a question that came in, so if it's okay, I'll probably pop a couple of them in. One was asking about the Dragonfly MT4 licensing, any updates on that?
If that's Robert again, tell him if he asks me the same question anymore, tell him.
No, it's a new person. It's a
Okay.
new.
I was like, if Robert repeats the same question one more time, I don't know yet. So Clodeo, as well, you know this, Brika, but a lot of our developers have just been underwater in the last, couple of weeks. So that and school started in life. So as soon as I have it, they will have it. But that's all I've got right now. And it's hard to you can either hype things up and build the excitement like it's a good sales pitch or whatever. I'm very open, as you guys know, so I tell you guys what's going on, but I just have no control over the time frame there. So as soon as I have it, you guys will have it and we'll go from there. So it's in theory, it's just licensing. It's Scott's license server, and then theirs was miscoded. It's a very simple thing. So we'll see.
Thank you, ma'am.
And what was the other question?
The other one we can probably wait till after the trading session, but someone wanted you to just kind of go over JGS on Tradingview, just kind of what that looks like, and then we'll snip it. The team will snip it.
Got
Um, and then somebody asked about breakout indicator approvals, which we'll probably wait until after the trading session.
All right, cool. Yeah, I will check that after the trading session. We'll do the trading view approvals. If there's a new person in there, I check it once or twice a day. But then if there's no one in there, we'll see. But the JGS, as you guys know, even I caught up with Ricky actually yesterday, guys. It's been a hot minute, but he's still using JGS. A lot of us who I have MT4 up right next to me that still has my golden ticket from MT5. It's technically MT5. So we don't have that built on TradingView. And that's okay. A lot of us who are using it, they're using it based off of alerts or whatever, or using it for viewing pleasure, looking at their MT4. The truth is, even getting it built here, when the version we're building does not look that way either. It's not going to have the same concept of that MACD because it doesn't function the same on TradingView as it does on MT4. So for me, if I was going to hone in on that strategy, I would learn the rules of the strategy. And this answer is for JGS. I would hone in on the strategy really, really well. Number one, because then regardless of the indicators, for the most part, you can still see everything. And then number two, I would have MT4 up off screen. So like if I'm trading on Tradingview or Tradingview for whatever, platform I'm on, I'd have that running here. And then over here, I would be viewing, my MT4 platform. But now we wait. Hey, Ricky. Honestly, it was so good to catch up with you. You guys know it's been just a week. And school started for the Munchkins and all
Hello.
all the little things, but it was really good to catch up with you. It's been a while.
Yeah, really good, really good. Did you see my last message? I sent you what you asked for.
I have not. I will check it. So after I get off this call, I'm gonna check all messages. I've caught up on 2 or 3 of the platforms. I'm gonna catch up on the rest. Go answer some things in there and I'll check the TradingView channel as well. And then I'm excited for you though. Congrats. How's your take profit account look this morning?
I made another. So I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning to uh to prove my strategy again to show you, hey, after all these years since I first showed everybody, still works. And I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning and made good profits, and you'll see in the snapshots I sent.
That's
And
awesome.
and I only traded a 5 minute candle just for 5 minutes just to prove it, and I made like, man, what, a bunch of money. And had I stayed in for 30 minutes, I would have made like $8,000 just off a 30 minute candle, you know. But yeah, so it was good. It's fun, but
And
you'll
I
see.
have I haven't traded ES in a little while. This is one contract on ES. Just one. It's only 200 bucks. If I had 5 on here, on the other hand, like it would be playing differently. But I'm officially locked, guys. This is really slow compared to NQ, but a little safer. I'm okay with that decision today. I didn't love the multi-direction with that big news candle. Caught some of this, just that middle portion, which is exactly where I want to be. And now I wait. So this is mirrored between a lot of accounts, and we'll see how it plays out. We will see. We'll see, guys. Great to see you. Good morning. And we're still going. So I would like to see us get all the way up into here, which will be a pretty substantial trade. As this continues to edge, this is going to start trailing faster and faster. So I'm likely not going to catch that all. But I'm just simply not willing to give that much of it back. This is just my trade of 8 automatic trail. I'm okay with that. I don't want to give all of that back, like just having it locked in profit. So maybe one more level, this moves up one more time. Hopefully we'll see.
It was like Bitcoin had a big retracement after its new high.
What is it? Oh, what's the price? It was 124 last night.
Yeah, I think it's back in the 1800s. Let me
18.
check.
That's
Yeah, 1,118,000, something like that. Let me double check.
we say numbers like that, it makes us feel good. But if any of you guys have 10,000 in Bitcoin, it really didn't give you a very big increase in comparison to like what we're doing here. I know it feels sexy on the news and all, but like if you have $10,000 in there or $20,000 in there, and let's say you bought in at 106, 118, well, now you'd be break even, but it didn't, it jumped, oh, it went up 3%, but that's only 3%, guys, or what it was. I forget what it was last night. It was like 3, 6, something like that percent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great point. Its
It's
market cap it finally surpassed Google on the market cap, overall market cap.
That did not take long at all, guys. That did not take long at all. I'm really excited to see what all the cryptos do in 10 years. I think it's hard to hold. I think it's hard to, continue investing in because especially for us for what we do, you can turn a couple $1,000s into let's say 10 or 20,000, but it's active energy. It's active trading versus your longer term stuff. If we traded crypto like longer term, it's kind of cool to see what's possible in 10 years, but we'll see how much of it sticks around. And I definitely think it's going to stick around. I just, to what extent and to what value, I'm really curious. I think the best thing, if the market is manipulated like people think, if the market is controlled and everything is, whatever, like people think, if those statements are true, oh, I don't want to get knocked out. Oh, well, too late now. Should have got knocked out up here. I was trying to hold it, but I was hovering. Not bad. I'll take it. The best thing they could do is tank it, is to wait for everybody to believe in crypto to the nth degree, let it rise 18 billion%, and every person on the planet is like, don't sell, don't sell, don't sell. This thing is going to the moon. And that's the day that they're going to say, okay, cool. Bitcoin is now, 13,000 or 23,000. And that's
Right. Everyone's a genius until they're not, right?
that's my biggest concern with crypto as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger is that
So
because it's not Nvidia. It's not, people are thinking, treating it like it's Nvidia, which is a company. Like it's not Google. It's not Google. So we might have surpassed that, but it's not Google. Google has a different, whatever. I know people hate the whole, it doesn't have a value, it doesn't have a use case. But no matter how we look at crypto, it's not Google. So they can easily let it go up to 170,000, 250,000, and everyone's like, don't ever sell. We got to keep holding. And that's the day they're gonna be like, okay, Bitcoin's 29,000. That's
Truly believe what you're saying, Jenny, because when you have like a micro strategy and some of these other companies that are hedge funds that have so much, they're holding so much, obviously at some point they're going to take profit, and it's definitely going to affect the sentiment, it's going to affect fundamentals, it's going to affect everything. So what goes up will definitely have to retrace, come back down, type thing. To what number you don't really know, because it's never been at these prices before. So I definitely agree with what you're saying. I just kind of try and keep some on the side so that once it does come back down, jump in.
yeah,
that
future.
that's all I'm thinking, guys, is thinking about exposure to the market. And I can't believe I'm saying this. 5 years ago, I would have said those people are stupid. But for like long-term exposure to the market, I want to be in the safest bets longest term. Because even QQQ was down 80 some odd percent for 15 years. Okay. The S&P 500 was down 80 some odd percent for 15 years, guys. And I am no expert. Like, I'm not claiming to be that person, that guru, that know-it-all, because I definitely am not. I'm just saying the days are short and the day-to-day fluctuations feel intense. And if we know his here, actually, we got our two trades. Little overmanaged on them, but from a purpose of what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm happy with this decision. So hold on, let's go to stocks. QQQ. I'm gonna go all the way up to the daily. 15 years, guys. This was down that much. I forget. That is not it. SPY. Hold on. But if we look at this and we start to think about things in this light, oh, this is going to be a horrible view, but you guys will get it. I'm not saying that we don't end up here. I'm saying we have to be able to survive the here. And this, I don't think, is the right period, but I am kind of curious. That's only 20%. What instrument do I type in? It's been a while. Maybe I need to go here long term. This period is down 40% for 21 to 23. That's only 2 years. Oh, I probably have to go up a bigger time frame. But this is what I want people to see. Like, and not for you. I'm talking to me, so you can take it or leave it. Do you, boo boo. But this is part of whatever picture we're investing in. So don't be afraid to take profit. Like, what was the guy who made a couple million on Palantir recently? There's a couple of them. They got in at a certain price, it went down, they got more, and they got out of most of their position, like 90%, 5% of their position. Like, just please, as if you have a bunch of Bitcoin, I know we might think it's going to go up to 250,000, and maybe it does. But get out of some of your position. Like, don't just think it's going to go up to 250,000 without something like this. This is QQQ down, whatever, 80% for 15 years. 80%. This blows my mind. From that price. So if you were the person that bought here, or let's say here, you had all this time to protect and to do something.
That's the dot-com bubble, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And then to go all the way to 2000, you had the 2008 crash as well. And then it's over, of course. What will happen too is, because I think we've mentioned it as well, is that especially in crypto, you can even say that too with some companies these days, because everything's inflated so much. Equity has been trying to get yield, and they've been putting it into the stock market. So there's a lot of companies that have false, or let's say fabricated numbers, a
Yes.
lot more so than what they're actually worth. So eventually that will balance out, and you'll see a lot of the people who are just getting the gains from what's being put into the market end up going belly up. A lot of the cryptos that are not going to remain solvent into the future going to go belly up as well. But during the course of the time, now you got like bigger players and all of that. Eventually, they're going to want better prices. The one thing that's sort of interesting with the Bitcoin is the fact that it's it how rare the actual product is. You know what I mean? It's the one thing that's finite, and you got a lot of big players, a lot of institutions and countries that are trying to get their positions into it. But that doesn't mean that it still can't be manipulated, because the heavier hands and bigger money, they're the ones that can fully come in and and pull out their positions and make the market drop. So that is a different thing than what we're dealing with. It's no longer just retail that's in there. And that's the thing. Usually with these things and the dot coms and all that. Remember, Amazon fell quite a bit, and a lot of people lost their positions that they had in that. And during those tough times, it was those that actually gained their positions and held to their positions that made money. So why Bezos tried to tell his parents to hold on to their stock and force them to hold on to their stock so they can be the multi billionaires that they are now.
Right. The thing I don't understand is, and look, I'm just this little girl out of Colorado, okay? I get it. I'm not Buffett. Well, maybe I am. I'm going to be Jenny Buffett one day. Who knows? Because we're still young in comparison to some of these good people. Like, we got a lot of time to go prove that we're Warren Buffett. But they're going to say, well, this was because X. They're going to say the Great Depression can happen again because X. They're going to say the stuff that happened in the 80s can happen again because X. It will never be the same, right? Well, that would never happen again. The 2000, the dot-com bubble. Well, that can't happen again because we're not going to have another dot-com bubble. They always say that, in my opinion. So they always say, well, the Brexit is a one time, whatever, right? The tariff thing with this particular president, well, that was, this only happened because X, right? But it is going to keep happening. Like, if you go back from the dawn of trade, and we call it foreign exchange, or whatever, with the stock market, the Federal Reserve, no matter how you look at it, there's always something. So whatever we call it, I don't care if we call it Bob Marley, or Joe Blow, or .com, or tariff, or we hate this president, or we don't, this president's the best, or it's all China's fault. It doesn't matter what we're labeling this dip. My only my only concept that I want people to know is that this dip, this is a couple year dip in this case, right? Or this dip is not only possible, it's probable, because historically it's proven it's happened. So likeliness, it's going to happen again in some dress or another. So put the girl in whatever dress you want, color the lips whatever color you want, and label it whatever you want. And maybe it's not going to be because of the dot-com bubble, but we're going to hit an era probably in our lifetime, sadly, where the market as we know it, or at least enough of these, long-term super safe instruments, are going to be down. Maybe not 84%, and maybe not for 15 years, but a lot of percent for a lot of time. And we're not prepared for that because everybody is in this over exuberant, we're forever going to buy, and we are. Like, I do think that by the time I'm dead or getting ready to die, most of these instruments are going to be worth more. That's why they're on my long-term list. They're going to be worth more by the time my life is over than they are today. So I believe that. I just want people to know that no matter what dress we put her in, okay, this is not only possible, it's probable, and it doesn't matter what we call it. We can call it the next Great Depression. I don't want to speak that into existence, We can blame Israel and we can blame Pakistan. We can blame whoever we want to blame, oil crisis or whatever crisis is going to be coming next. But something is going to happen that puts cryptos, okay? And I think cryptos is an easy target because of the digital age, and then because everyone's so interested in it, that's where I think they're gonna hurt people there. And that's kind of my biggest fear. Not to be the fear monger person, but crypto will be an easy area to hurt your upper middle class, your middle class people. It'll be just an easy area because again, the super, super wealthy don't care if they're down 70% or 80%. In fact, they're probably moving money and buying more. The lower, income people are, well, they lost, woe is me. That's the story of their life anyhow. But everybody in between, the mass 80% of Americans and worldwide people who were in that, they cared about that money, they needed it for from some reason. I think that's the topic. So I think crypto is going to be a great target for something like this to happen. And not to say it's not going to reach this. I definitely think it's possible and probable. But I just want people to know that this is historically possible and probable. If you look up, the statistics on risk and market behavior, market psychology, and that's all I want people to know. So when you're up, please just take some of your gains off of the table. It doesn't have to be all. Look for the next level, look for measured moves. Crypto, I don't think we have Bitcoin in here. I'll probably be a multi-bajillionaire by MicroStrategy alone, but and a few others that been very fortunate on. What is that? Why did I type in Bitcoin? BT. It's Bit. Wow, I haven't looked at Bitcoin on this in a hot minute. Let's go to crypto. This period of time. That's all. Sorry to go off on that tangent, but I think about that every time people get stupid excited. I'm like, okay, this is 900 days. 900 days. This period is 900 days. So that's all. Something to think about.
Hasn't Warren Buffett been like slowly pulling out like equity in a lot of different companies as well?
I haven't followed any of Buffett stuff in a while. A long time ago, somebody on this call, and I could have swore it was Scott, maybe it was you, but I had asked Scott and he said he didn't know. We looked up a website that looked up the actual like performance of people's portfolio, like the big people's hedge funds portfolio, and I forget the name of the site. So if anybody listening still remembers it, I want to go geek out on that. Because it was like perfectly organized. But if you look even at ARK and some of the bigger people, they are not heavily, even the people who are tech oriented and supposedly in that arena and that space as their main, stay in their investment approach because they have to label and title their investment approach. They're not nearly as heavily in crypto as you would think, like in percentage of their portfolio. Like not at all, which to me is very telling. Like not to say they're right, because obviously look at also the performance of their portfolios. They're not that great either. So I don't know. This is hard. It's very hard to say.
Yeah. So with hedge funds have so many different they can only have so many percentages that they're on their portfolio, and then as they gain so much equity, then sometimes they have to limit their exposure. So that's sometimes sort of a difficult thing. But your main point is true. If you're just looking at these individual ETFs or hedge funds, their performance based off of what someone can accomplish on their own is night and day. As long as you're smart about it, not too heavily positioned into one company or whatnot, and it could work both ways. Sometimes when you're heavy positions, if you have high conviction in a particular company, that can, over a course of time, through the good and the bad, can really make you very wealthy and well off. But if you just pick your few industries and different types of markets for exposure, ones that you have high conviction on, have been proven over time, and still have a future where they can, have some potential growth, you can make some good gains and really beat out a lot of these hedge funds just by holding those assets, for 10 plus 15 years, or never selling. We've talked about that as well before. Never selling your assets. That's what the very wealthy and elite do. They hold on to the assets and just borrow from it and keep it and hand it over to the next generation if they decide to do so.
That 100%. You guys see Pelosi's performance over the last this year is like 78% gains.
How can you not? Trump's always talking about her anyway.
Like
Yeah,
I forget who posted that or where I saw it. I was like, whoa, she's in
and
trouble.
yeah. See, they're always outing certain people that certain people don't like for whatever reason, but they're all doing it. All congressmen and women, all senators, they're all 100%. That's how they make their money. You know, the public office, they don't make any money. Those salaries are very small. You know, they only make their money through insider trading. They're the ones that's proving laws, that's passing laws. If they know laws are going to hurt certain industry, what are they doing? Their brokers are shorting those stocks. If they're passing laws that's going to help certain industries, they're getting in before we even know about it on ground deals. And so all of their portfolios through through the trades they're making are all based on insider information. 100%, they're all guilty. It's just that certain people, are going to get called out for certain political reasons. But and some people are more aggressive with that insider trading than others, but they're all guilty of it. Even Bernie Sanders, don't even let him tell you that he's not. He hates the millionaires and billionaires, but you look into his background and you see that he's a multimillionaire with multiple homes across the United States and want to talk about how bad it is for other people to be rich.
Don't
So
forget
there
about Elizabeth Warren too.
yeah, I mean, it kills me. It's just like, man, whatever. Y'all just talking for votes on both sides. It's
You gotta
crowd.
love it. You gotta love it that these people are wearing like literally $50,000. They're driving off in $1 million. Okay, they're using their expense accounts, $500,000 of our bucks, by the way. And
Yes.
they're like, look at those evil people. They should pay more taxes. Like, seriously, guy? I think there's some other things we should be talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
seriously?
Talking about should be illegal to be 100 millionaire or billionaire. Get out of here. This is a capitalist country. No, we should be encouraging that from our youth of innovation. Not just to be rich. Like it's the best thing in the world, but about financial freedom. About hey, opportunity. Only this country you can be as successful as you want to be, depending on how hard you work. Study, learn the industry really good, and figure out to do something that other people haven't figured out, and then boom, you're rich. But no, it kills me. The AOC always talking trash, but you see her going to some kind of like special event or ballroom dance with a $10,000 dress on. I'm like, get out of here, man, talking all that trash. So
It's all the
they
noise. It's all the noise, Ricky. Because that's the thing that sort of frustrates me the most with politics, is it keeps people like the regular average Joe, like you and me, people who get caught up and tied into this, and you bring politics over whether you're right or left, and you start fighting with family. Well, we should be talking about other things as far as growing health wise, growing financially, growing spiritually, whatever the case is, just growing as humans. There's so many other things that we can be focused on, but there's always something new that causes a distraction and causes people to, and I think sometimes people gravitate towards it because of the regular grind and struggle of life. Imagine like you look at the wages and the way that the prices of housing and all of that have gone up, and the politicians talking about that we need to tax the wealthy more to do this, that, and the third. And there's never one right answer, but they act like each of them, like they know everything that needs to be done, as opposed to addressing the actual issue and having the wages, living wages, and the inflation states keep up with the standards of living. As each next generation goes, it becomes obviously more difficult. If you look in the past, what it costs to get into a home and the percentage of your salary you had to spend to actually raise a family, that has changed drastically. That's why you have a lot more, and this is in my opinion, we have a lower birth rate now, because a lot of people have either opted out, because one simply can't afford the cost of living and purchasing a home, and either gonna travel abroad or whatnot. A lot more women are having to work their own careers. That takes like more of a number one position as opposed to doing a family, because they're involved in their careers, and a lot of them become successful. And then sometimes when you look for a partner, you may not find a partner that's adequate or equal value that may hold your standards or higher value. So through all of that, a lot of that has gotten lost as far as like the main goal, the American dream, right, was the white picket fence and having a family and building that family and going off in the sunset, growing old, watching your kids grow old and have their own families. So again, it boils back down to the cost of living. People who don't have like very well paying jobs, and even if you do have very well paying jobs, you're taxed like crazy if you have make over 150K, especially depending where you live. If you're on the, and usually more democratic states like New York or California, the tax rate is just ridiculous. So even though you're making 150, it's like the equivalent of you making like 75,000, and then the cost
Oh
of
yeah.
living in those areas are more. So it all messes up. It's just the cost. We can't keep up with the cost, and it hurts the value of life.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
it
I,
is.
I'm in the tech world. I manage over 250, software engineers, across, like over 100 different countries, and the same developers that has the same skill sets and the same amount of experience. One developer here living, in Texas or a different state, okay, $250,000 a year to start. But the same developer of equal, knowledge and capabilities in California, I have to pay them $600,000 just to be able to survive. It's ridiculous. So,
100%.
you
That
know,
birth rate topic, Jonathan, that's a real deal. Like I'm around a lot of youth, okay, because I have older kids. I am blown away at how many men and women, like even in their early 20s, are like, yeah, no, I don't think so. And it's dressed differently, but a lot of it comes down to fiscal responsibility. It's the idea of trying to do that for most people now, it's just so far-fetched in their mind that they're like, well, wait, why would I? Because to me, through all my successes and failures, I still think being a mother and is the single most biggest impact thing I've ever done, right? It is like it shaped me. Every aspect of my life comes from that, like a huge defining part. And then plus it's like our next generation, it's our legacy. So to see this many people, and I know there's other ways to, be the light and to make a difference, make an impact, but the birth rate topic, that one just breaks my heart so much because that's our future. And it's a topic worldwide, actually, the whole birth rate being down thing. But man, that just got dark. It got dark. So dark. Sorry, I'm all sitting here playing around. Ugh. Okay, guys. Well, as this conversation started in terms of crypto, I know crypto hit 124s. Oh, I think almost 125s. Don't quote me on exactly how much. If you're invested, please just take some off the table. Just please be smart. Don't be the person that phones me in a month or a few years and saying, "Look, I was up 45,000 and I didn't," and ask me how I know. Just being 100% honest about my major successes and losses, man, those losses hurt. They bleed. Please, please, please take some. I know it might mean you're going to miss out on your seven figures because you took some off. I promise you, more often than not, you will have saved the 40,000 long before you're going to have earned the seven figures. So, that's just my 2 cents. But it is Thursday, you guys. I have a to-do list the size of Texas. This week is always notoriously pretty busy for me as the kids started back school, and then just life stuff. So let me go answer all these messages, Tradingview things. As soon as I have deliverables, I promise you guys will be the first ones to have them. Just give the team some time to kind of come through and do all the things. And otherwise, we caught our couple of wins. Coulda, shoulda, woulda managed a little bit tighter, better. I'm very content with how I got this one, a little less than 10 points. I closed out. Um, could have held for more, but even if I was trailing by candle, I would have been out here, which is approximately the same amount that I lost or earned anyways, not lost. So you take you take it with what you got. You do the best you can with what you know at the time. ES, nice entry, really played around for a hot minute. Could have got a re-entry in here. Could have got a re-entry in here. Overall, still kind of barreling up a little bit. Still sitting below yesterday's close. If we stay below these levels, guys, we're looking to potentially sell back down. If not, we're looking for a buy. Okay, that's all. We're just looking for our buys, and that's all we're doing. We're above the VWAP. Big time frame stuff. We got a nice wick on the 4 hour. Actually, let's turn off all this nonsense. See how this next 4 hour candle has closed. Still looking for the buys. So nice wick of rejection overall. Big buy side, everything. and Q looked like we wanted to get below, but we did not. So as of right now, we're still pretty much only looking for buys. And if you try to go against that, you're gonna get your butt handed to you. Ask me how I know. Gold, on the other hand, did break below this morning. Played around for a hot minute first. Was looking. I think it took some time. I was just looking. Wanted to really get below and stay below. And we got that here. And then it just beautiful move to the upside, retest, and then there we go. So we'll see. Slowly but surely we shall see. But let me check the chat real quick. Good morning. Tomorrow is the last day to get the $400 off of the platinum membership. The price is going up on Dragonfly. So if you or somebody you know, Ricky made $5,000 on S&P. That's awesome. If you or somebody you know who's interested, make sure you go take a look. This thing is meant to keep you exposed to the market when you're not, right? That is what it's designed to do. It's designed to be constantly trading on your behalf and let it play out. Your job is to literally do nothing, reboot your platform. You'll have alerts set up if there's something you need to do. And that's it. Some people are doing some really impressive things. I know Robert is one of them. He is a complete genius at a lot of things. So, incredible gains. Then most people are not doing that much in gains. It's meant to average you that 5 to 40% a month. Okay. The 40% is going to come in high volume times. The five, it's never really been as low as 5. It's been more like 15, but the 10 or 15% in summer months or low volume months or holding months, that's kind of what you'd be looking to expect when you're exposed to all markets. Can this thing make you a lot of absolutely it can, but it's just really hard to sustain. So we don't talk about that. We don't promote that, and I don't do that. I'm letting them all do their things, and some of them are having a lot of fun. So that's all I've got there. As soon as I have your automations and all the things done, you will be the first to know. I'm gonna get in touch with both developers and go from there. So happy Thursday. If you made money with those trades, go post them in the chat. Our team will get them posted. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for all you do. Happy Thursday. Take care and God bless. Bye, guys.